importance of establishing the Development Bank for the BRICS group?
Well, actually, we have to look back from a more of a bird's eye view. We have to understand first the objectives of our economic diplomacy and how the participation in such a development bank would serve the objectives of our economic diplomacy. Actually, the Egyptian economic diplomacy has three main goals. Number one, it looks at promoting the Egyptian exports to the level of $100 billion per annum. And secondly, to increase the foreign direct investment, especially in high technology and sustainability. And third, the procurement of finance at favorable, or we can say at fair terms and conditions, especially to deal with the climate changes and the structural changes and structural reforms of our economy. So in this regard, it's important for us to participate in the new development bank established by the BRICS, because we have to understand that the BRICS countries, they have amongst the highest national saving rates in the world. For example, China has a national saving rate of 46% out of its GDP. This rate means that each $100 in the Chinese GDP, they have to save $46 from it. And they either invest the $46 in their local and domestic economy, or they invest it abroad. In India, the national saving rate is 30%. So these two countries are amongst the top foreign investors in the world. That's why it's important to deal with them, and it's important to establish economic alliances and economic forums with them, especially in the field of finance. Because if we go back with our memory to May 2023, and we remember the Paris summit that called for a new charter of international finance, and that called for or that called on international financial institutions to update and to modernize their risk management frameworks and their evaluation frameworks in order to be able to cater for the needs of the developing countries, especially in the field of climatic changes and financing climatic changes. We've seen Dr. Rania Al-Mashad speaking about the African financing needs and African financing gaps, and the need to understand those financing needs and the need to update the financing instruments and risk management tools in order to cater for those needs. So it's really important for us to participate in the meetings and in the formulation of the policies and the frameworks of such a new bank.
Yes, Dr. Ghoneim, we are going to continue with you, but after a short break, we are going to be back with our telephone. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to a short break, during which we are going to introduce the call for the afternoon prayers, and we'll be back to you. We were speaking about establishing a development bank for the BRICS group. So what are the facilities that are expected from the bank for participating countries?
Well, this new development bank, actually from its name, it's a new bank. It's established with a new outlook, with a new framework, with new ideas. Because in the last 2 years, there have been many calls on the international arena, as we said, including the Paris summit of May 2023, calling for a new charter for international finance, especially for the international financial organizations to modernize their risk management frameworks, their financing instruments, the financing facilities, in order to cater for the developing and evolving needs of the South, of the countries of the South, especially that the countries of the south are the main countries that are hurt by the climatic changes. We know that the climatic changes are mainly caused by the industrial nations in the north, and until now they haven't provided the sufficient finance for the south in order to adapt for such changes, and in order to adapt for the effects of such changes on, especially on their agriculture and on their natural resources. So the new bank is expected to adopt new and modern and flexible financing vehicles, especially on the risk management and the risk hedging areas.
So what will be the positive impact on the development plans for these countries?
Well, actually, we have seen a lot of rigidity, actually, I might say, from many international organizations regarding, as I said, the evolving needs of the South. So the new bank is expected to be more dynamic, to be more flexible, to provide finance, especially for the long-term structural development and the long-term structural reforms of the South, especially in the areas of the climatic changes and adaptation for the climatic changes, and the areas of sustainability, changing towards more sustainable economies, more eco-friendly industries, the use of the eco-friendly fuel, whether it's green hydrogen or maybe the less eco-friendly fuel, the blue hydrogen. And also it's expected that such bank would facilitate the international trade between the BRICS countries. We know that the BRICS countries, they dominate more than 29% of the world economy, and that was according to the statistics of 2022. They control more than, or from 16 to 20% of the international trade. So a lot of international trade is expected between the BRICS countries, especially if the BRICS countries succeed in using their local currencies as a mode of exchange or as a mode of financing the international trade. So it's expected that the new bank would play a very important role in financing such trade, such bilateral trade between the BRICS countries.
Yes. So, Dr. Ghoneim, how has Egypt benefited from joining the BRICS?
Well, actually, Egypt maintains stable and strong relationships and balanced relationships between the East and the West. Egypt has strong relationships with the United States and its Western allies, whether in North America, Britain, or Western Europe. Also, Egypt has strong relationships with the Eastern countries, the so-called BRICS countries, Russia, China, and India. Of course, you know that India has always played a more of a non-aligned role between the East and the West, but it may be now it has joined the BRICS, but still it maintains strong relationships with the West. We've seen such international polarization both in the political, the military, and also in the economic arenas. But Egypt has always managed to maintain stable and to maintain balanced relationships between the East and the West. Now, Egypt is benefiting, of course, from entering into the BRICS by trying to increase its international trade with the BRICS countries, by promoting tourism, especially for the Russians, the Indians, the Chinese, and especially, as I said before, the short rest that India and China are amongst the highest the national saving rates in the world. The national saving rate of China is 46% out of its GDP. This means that in each $100 GDP, China saves $46 from them, and either invests those $46 inside the Chinese economy or outside. In India, it's 30%. So both countries are among the highest national saving rates in the world. And both countries have been very active in exploiting the opportunities offered by the new Suez Canal economic zone.
Yes, sir.
Especially in the investment or in investing in the green hydrogen and the eco-friendly fuel, the production of the eco-friendly fuel.
Yes, I thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your valuable information, Dr. Ayman Ghoneim, economic and legal expert. Thank you very much for joining us over the phone. Ladies and gentlemen, a short break and I'm going to be back with you.